Hey, what's up guys? It's Ryan and you're watching Ryan Vision. If you haven't already, check out my other video about the Acura MDX oil consumption. Actually, any Acura within certain years with the 3.7. Check out my other video. You'll get all the details about the mailer that went out. So even if you didn't get the mailer about the oil consumption issue, you can get the details from my other video. In this video, I'm basically just going to update you guys, let you know how my whole experience went with the oil consumption test, dealing with the dealership, what the test results were, and what ended up being done in order to fix the vehicle and what it cost me. Alright, so let's get right into it. Basically, my vehicle, it was drinking a lot of oil. I brought it back, so they do the oil change, the certified oil change, which my dealership is Nilo Acura out of Roseville, California, and they charged me $57.40 for their certified oil change. Basically, they change the oil, they certify that the dipstick is at full, they mark the drain plug and the filter so you can't just go home and drain a bunch of oil out of it and say, hey, this thing's drinking oil, you guys need to fix it for free. So they did that. A lot of people were upset about having to pay for that, but you know, in my mind, if I'm saving $4,000+ on a repair, that's what I've heard it costs, then I can spend the $57.40 to get it checked out and make sure, you know, it qualifies. So my vehicle, in the last video I mentioned, I had gone on a 500-mile road trip, low RPM highway driving with the cruise control on. It drank about 3/4 of a quart, which I felt was quite excessive. So went and got the certified oil change done, and they, you know, marked everything like I said, charged me the $57.40, told me go ahead and go drive the vehicle for anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000 miles, and then bring it back in. We'll check the level and check the consumption and let you know whether or not you qualify for any of the free repairs. So I did that, and I kept checking the oil level. I drove the car every day. It's more of a weekend warrior for us, you know, if we're loading up the dog going somewhere. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to drive it every day. I'm going to drive it to and from work. Anywhere I go until this test is over with, I'm going to drive it to put the miles on it and get this thing figured out one way or another. So I did that. As I was checking the dipstick, I got to just 930 miles and there was no more oil on the dipstick. So basically I took it into the dealership at 930 miles and I told them, look guys, you know, I'm not sure if you want me to keep driving the vehicle. I'm pretty nervous here because when I pull the dipstick, there's nothing on it. And they were right away, they're like, no, you know, we'll get this figured out. So they took it around back. I had to wait just a little while. By the way, the oil change, I didn't have an appointment. I went in early in the morning. I think I was there for 30 or 45 minutes, something like that. So same type of deal. I took it back. I was there for maybe 30 minutes before somebody, 30-40 minutes before somebody came in and basically said, yeah, this vehicle consumed 2 quarts of oil in 930 miles, which obviously I think by anyone's standards is pretty excessive. So basically that was good news at that point, because it meant they had certified your vehicle's one of the ones consuming excessive oil. We are going to take care of the repairs free of charge. So that was amazing. Then the service rep, again, this is at Nilo Acura. I don't know if all dealerships are doing this, but they basically gave me a little sheet, nothing official, just something they had drawn up, of other services that are a lot more convenient to do when this repair is being done. So basically, you know, the oil consumption issue has to do with the oil control rings on the pistons. So they were going to go way deep into the motor to have to fix those. So a lot of stuff has to come off and go back on as part of that process. That's a lot of labor involved, and labor rates are very expensive per hour. So they called it oil consumption repair add-on options. Again, specific to this dealership, you could ask yours about it. Valve adjustment and spark plugs, $345 discounted, and they have also on here what it usually costs. Timing belt and serpentine belt. This one blew my mind. $177 they would do that if I did it while they were doing the free repair for the oil consumption. $177. If you've ever priced out or done a timing belt repair on one of these vehicles, you know that that's a steal. That's like unheard of. Water pump, $368, and oil pump reseal, $425. I'll talk to you about that a little bit. Then they had options down here if you want to do the full tune-up number 4. That includes timing belt, serpentine belt, water pump, tensioner, spark plugs, and valve adjustment. Then they had that price down here, $890. Or you could also throw in the oil pump reseal on top of that for $1,315. So the vehicle I bought back in, I don't know, I want to say it was like November, late last year, late 2018. I bought it from the second owner who bought it certified pre-owned. So I knew this vehicle had been well taken care of. The guy I bought it from was super particular. He had this whole folder, which is where this paperwork is stored now, of everything that was ever done to it. I mean, from changing the wiper blades to putting new tires on it to flushing the fluids. The guy was just, I couldn't have bought from a better individual as far as buying a used car. So I went through all the paperwork, all the records, and I knew that not long ago, I think it was like 2 years ago, the timing belt had been done, the water pump had been done, the tensioner, basically this whole service except the valve adjustment. The valve adjustment paperwork showed it had been done at like 80,000 miles. I want to say like 86,000 miles. And everything else was done about 2 years ago. So the last time the valves were done was 86,000. Now I have close to double that mileage. I'm at about 160,000 miles now, and the thing's just running amazing, especially after the repairs. So anyways, I opted, since all the repairs for the oil issue were being done free, I did opt to do the valve adjustment. So I paid the $345 for that, got a fresh set of spark plugs as part of that. And I went ahead and did the timing belt, even though it was done 2 years ago, for $177 to reset that clock. Because the timing belt, it's not just a mileage thing. There's a certain mileage that you change it, or a certain time period, because it dries out, things like that. The weather impacts it, everything else. So for $170, I just said, you know what, go ahead and do it again. That gives me another 2 years without having to worry about it. In my own opinion, that was worth it. So I went ahead and did that. Didn't do the water pump, knew that had been done 2 years ago, figured it wasn't needed, and that was $368, so it wasn't like, oh, I'll just go ahead and do that. The oil pump reseal, they did hit me up when they had the motor all taken apart, and they said that the oil pump had some leaking, nothing major. Did some research on that. Apparently it's super common and it's internal. So it's not like leaking out, because that's what was confusing me. I had zero oil anywhere under that car in my garage or on the driveway. So it's an internal thing. I have good oil pressure. I don't have any problems with the oil pressure in the vehicle, so I told them don't worry about that. So basically I got the full repair, everything that they do to fix the oil control rings, which should, just help everything, not burn any more oil, and the car feels like it runs better. Maybe it's just my imagination, or maybe it was the valve adjustment, because I noticed that quieted things down quite a bit under the hood. I just had like some ticking sounds and things like that. That's all been squared away now. So basically they took care of me. They took really good care of me. In fact, I dropped the vehicle off for the repair. So that's another thing I want to mention. When I went back for the test results, I didn't just leave the vehicle with them. They set an appointment. It was about 2 weeks out for me, and at your dealership, it's just going to depend on the volume of people that have been coming in and getting this issue, checked out and then ultimately taken care of. So depending how busy they are, they will only take so many of these recall vehicles in at a time, because they have other things to do, of course. So they made a scheduled an appointment about 2 weeks out. I came back, I dropped it off in the morning before work. They had a shuttle there, warmed up. The guy was ready to go. He took me over to Enterprise Rental Car. They rented me it wasn't like, they didn't stick me in a little like Ford Focus hatchback or anything like they usually try to do when the rental's free. I was in a full-size pickup truck, 4-wheel drive. I think it was like a, I don't even know what it was. It was a Nissan Frontier. That's what it was. 4-wheel drive, V6, very nice. They threw me in that, and I was in it for about a whole week. I think I dropped the Acura off on a Tuesday morning, and I think it was Friday when I got the Acura back. And so for that entire time, they took care of the rental truck for me, no charge to me. Now I think I did have to put I should have done this video sooner, so everything was fresh in my mind, but I did have to put a credit card down that they put a very small charge on, Enterprise did, but then when I brought the car back and everything was fine, that got reversed. So the rental car cost me $0. The repair in regards to the oil consumption cost me $0, unless you include the $54 that I had to do for the oil change, which I just, in my mind, I kind of wrote that off. You know, whatever, small price to pay for a big fix, and it was just, it all worked out. They made it really convenient for me. So big thanks to Acura, big thanks to Nilo Acura dealership, everybody there who took care of me. Great dealership. So if you guys are having problems with your dealership, I would suggest that you maybe try another one, because you know, these places, depending on their owner, depending on their manager, they may be a whole lot easier to work with. They may treat you a lot better and care more about the customer beyond just selling you a car. You know, some of these dealerships could have sour feelings about it, saying, well, you didn't even buy the car from us, you bought it used, and now you're coming in here trying to get free repairs. We don't have the time to even mess with you, all right? Unfortunately, that's how it might be at some places. So find a good dealership. If you're in California, Nilo Acura might be the one to check out. I promise you, they didn't pay me to say that. All right, so overall, pretty good experience, really happy. Let me just glance through the paperwork, make sure that there was nothing else here. And by the way, the test, I think I went a little high on the miles. The test was started at 147,000 miles, so not quite at 160,000 yet. But yeah, that's it. $57.40. I basically feel like I've got a pretty fresh running engine now. So far not burning any oil, so I'll keep an eye on it. But hopefully this helped you guys out. Like I said, I make these videos, I'm just hoping that, you know, in the 20 minutes or however long it takes for me to make these videos, if it helps just one person, I figure it's worth it. So hopefully it helps at least one of you guys out. And really hope your vehicle gets taken care of, your Acura with the 3.7 V6. So if you guys are drinking oil, get in there, talk to the dealership, get in there, get it checked out, and hopefully get it fixed. All right? Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. See ya.